Hello, everybody. I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Belinda Sandor, and I am the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants, and I teach them how to create, grow, and scale their businesses. And I work with my students in my free online classroom, my courses, and my coaching programs. So come on in. I'm thrilled to see you here. Today, I'm going to be your host for Lessons from the Cockpit, where I share weekly tactical and practical advice for your virtual assistant business. And these tips are for you if you're just getting started or you've been a VA for a while. And I love to hear where you're coming in from, so please let me know in the comments so I can say hello. So we are streaming live everywhere. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, we are on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you will be notified every time we go live. And we have at least 2, if not more, free trainings every single week, and I don't want you to miss out. Okay, good. So today we're going to talk about how to watch your mindset when it comes to learning new skills, because learning new skills is something that really is a trigger for chicken chatter. It's really pretty interesting, right? And we're going to dive into that. So before we do, let me see who's here. I'm very excited. So Maria is here and she's watching on YouTube, and Tina is here. Hello. Christiane is here. All right. Hello. Good morning from Tammy in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Hello. Talara is here and Kat is here. Hi, Tori. Hello. Heather and Teresa from Texas. And here's someone from Indiana and Amy. Hello, Amy from Texas, and Teresa from Kentucky. That is awesome. So come on in and settle in. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I want to introduce myself. And keep telling me who's here and say hello. I love that. Okay, good. So this is me and I call her, much to her probably chagrin, my little Delish. And this was us about 13 years ago when I started my virtual assistant business. And it was an interesting time in my life. It was a very unplanned time in my life, and not anything I was headed toward, but I definitely landed there. So here I am. I'm a few months shy of my 50th birthday, and being the total planner that I am, I mean, I just plan everything. And I plan it because it makes me feel good, right? I like to know what's next, and I like to get excited, and I like to anticipate what's going to happen. But here I am, just shy of my 50th birthday, and I had plans for my 30th birthday, the big 3-0, we call it, right? And the big 4-0, and definitely the big 5-0. And the thing is that I wasn't anywhere near where I thought I would be, which really kind of surprised me, because for those other birthday milestones, I was right on track, in terms of my career, in terms of being married, a homeowner, family, all of those things. And so it was a little startling, you might say, when I was sliding into my 50th birthday, because instead of being happily married, I'm getting divorced. Instead of being a homeowner, I have to sell my house because I haven't been able to pay the mortgage for a whole year. Instead of being financially, I would say, on a path to saving for retirement, I have spent all of my savings. I have credit card debt that is 6 figures, and I owe the IRS for 7 years of back taxes. I mean, talk about the decade of craziness, right? And the thing is that this is the kind of clincher, and I don't know if you'll relate to this or not, but I would love to hear if you do. I didn't have plans for the big 6-0. And so what that caused, and I didn't realize this until fairly recently, is that because I didn't have plans for the big 6-0, and I had sort of epically failed, hitting the milestones for the big 5-0, I thought it was too late. And that's so interesting because now I'm 62. I definitely, scooted through the big 6-0. But I don't feel like it's too late to do anything, and that's such a different perspective. So I want you to think about that, because we put these artificial constraints on ourselves when we're thinking about where we should be, in our lives. So really think about that. If you're in a place that you are not excited about and you want to be somewhere else, it's not too late to turn that around. And so the thing that I had on my side was a huge why, which is this little girl. And the other thing was I'm pretty determined. And so I leaned into this whole concept of being a virtual assistant before I even really knew what it was. I just thought, you know what? I used to be a secretary in the dark ages. I know how to type. I know how to figure stuff out. And I love this kind of work. And I've always been kind of the person, and I bet you are too, that people come to, I can't print. How do I this? I don't know what to do with that. Can you help me with, whatever it is? And so when that happens often enough, you might think, well, I could probably get paid for this. How could I get paid for this? And that's called being a virtual assistant, right? And it was all because I wanted to base my life on really the simple daily things that I wanted. So things like I wanted to be a Girl Scout leader. I wanted to pick Emily up from school. I wanted to be able to pick her up from school when she was sick and not have to do that sort of, walk down the hall to the boss's office. Hi, my daughter's sick. I don't know how long I'll be out. That whole thing that comes from being a primary caregiver to a child, and so, I just didn't want that anymore. I had been in corporate for 17 years. I had a good run, but I was done. I was just done. Excuse me. So I leaned into this whole concept of admin work, and I just told everybody that I knew what I was up to. I didn't even really have it figured out. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. I was talking to the dads. One of the dads says, "What's new?" And I tell him my idea. And his entire face changed, and he said, "Oh my gosh, we need to talk. I started a business a couple months ago," which I had no idea. And he was drowning in bill paying and organizing and software installations and things that I could easily do. And so I started working with him, and that was my first client. Now, since then, I have been in business for 13 years, since 2010. I've worked with over 225 clients, and I've made over $1 million working from a little corner of my house, whether it was an apartment in Boston or where I live now. And the first year I was in business, I made $70,000. And every year after that, I made $100,000 being a virtual assistant working from home. And I'm here to tell you that you can do this too. It is definitely within reach. And here's what it looks like today. So this was 2 years ago. I married the man I've been looking for my whole life at 60. So seriously, guys, that was not on the plan at all, right? That was not in the plan at all. But I'm so grateful that it turned out this way. So these are our kids. Greg's 4 boys, David, Charlie, Stephen, and Andy, and Emily is next to me. And life is different now. Life is different. There's room. I don't feel like someone else is running my life anymore. And there's a lot of peace in being self-reliant and knowing how to make money and knowing what to do to turn the volume up on how many clients I have and how much money's coming in, and to be able to turn it down if it's a time in my life when I can't, manage as many clients. So I really want you to think about that and think about what I teach here, because you can have that too. All right. You can have that too. And here's really one of the core elements to this is how you handle what we're going to talk about today, which is learning new skills. Okay. So let's just take a minute and think about learning new skills, because we put a lot of trash talk into learning new skills. So let's dive into that a little deeper. Okay. Okay. So here's what happens. All right. You're sitting at your desk, you're doing some client work, and you think, okay, I'm going to dive into this new thing. I'm sure I can figure it out. I don't really know what I'm doing. And maybe you've been putting it off a little bit because you don't really like that feeling of not knowing. Nobody really does, right? And so you start the work and you hit a bump, and it looks like a mountain, and all of a sudden it's like the chicken chatter clicks in, and you start with the language, like, what were you thinking? Why did you say you would do this? You have no idea what you're doing. This is ridiculous. You're never going to make it. How did you ever think you're going to make money doing this? You have no idea. And it just starts, right? And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So how many of you has this happened to? It's happened to all of us, I think, but let me shout out if it's specifically happened to you. And so what happens is, when we start all the chicken chatter in our mind, our brain locks. It completely locks, and no new ideas can come in. And when no new ideas come in, it gets even bigger. And I'm sure this has happened to all of you, right? And so what I want you to do is reframe learning, and think about it from the standpoint of curiosity. Think of it from the point of view of getting a new skill, right? Of exploring a new idea. So Maria says it has. Yes, it's. I think it's. Well, I'm sure it's normal because it happens to all of us. Normal, just all that means is it happens to everybody. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean fun or exciting. It just means, oh yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. All right. So let's talk about elements of learning that we don't give ourselves grace with. Okay, learning something takes time. Right? Learning something takes time. And what happens is, when we're learning something, either for ourselves or a client, it's like a brick wall on top of our head. And we're just like trying to push ourselves as fast as possible. And that whole, all the pressure of that, like I said, it closes your brain down. So you've closed your brain down. Great. Now what you've done is you're talking trash to yourself, and you're putting the pressure of, you have to do this as quickly as possible. Do you see how hurtful that is, and how it's just not going to happen? So what I want you to do is let's say you're working on something for a client and you hit a wall. Okay. I want you to stop. Just stop. And I want you to think, okay, I'm going to turn the clock off because it doesn't feel right to charge my client for this. I've definitely hit a wall. Let's go into the kitchen and get something to drink. Let's take a lap, and let's come back in. And I want you to relax and just think, I'm not on the clock right now. I am learning something new. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning something new. What happens if I click this? What happens if I click that? Learning something new. Figure out what you need to know, and then jump back into the job and start the clock again for a client. Okay. Now the thing is that learning something new, not only does it take time, it takes patience, right? Teresa says, I never thought about that before, that it closes your brain down. It totally does, right? It's like this white noise comes into your head and you can't think of anything. It's amazing. It's amazing. So you're going to have to find patience. And that's not always easy to do. It's hard enough for me to be patient with other people in life. To be patient with myself, it's taken a ton of practice. Now, so let's dive into a way to learn something new that's win, 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 win. Okay. When you want to learn something new, let's say you want to set up calendar management software for your business, like Calendly, Acuity. I want to invite you to do this for your own business in a time where there's no pressure. I love Saturday morning. Emily's off at college. Greg is playing paddle tennis. There's no one in my house. I'm in my jammies. I'm at my desk, and I'm just fooling around. I don't have a deadline. Like, I have to get this done in an hour or I'm a bad person. It's just, I'm going to set this up, and I just tool around, click in, click out, install, make a mistake, whatever. Nobody's watching, right? And the stakes are low because I've given myself a window of the day or the morning or whatever, and I'm doing it for myself. So I don't have that pressure of, I'm charging the client for this, and they're going to think that this is too much time. That's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves, right? So when you're learning something new, take that pressure off, okay? Take that pressure off. So learn it. And then what will happen is you can write a newsletter about it, right? Why calendar management software has changed my life. 3 reasons, and you'll know them because you just lived through it. You'll send that out to your list. People will then come to you and say, will you help me with calendar management? Looks like you know what you're doing, and you do. And now you can help 20 people set this up, right? Over time. So that's how this works. So by thinking of your business as a client and as a display case, right? Then, because here's the thing. Most of us are going to work with service-based entrepreneurs, right? So coaches, financial planners, trainers, marketing consultants. That's been the majority of my client base. I've also had products and different things too. But think about this. The majority of my clients have been service-based entrepreneurs, people just like me, right? And they need exactly what I need for my business. I needed an email newsletter. I needed to set up calendar management. I set up my blog. I set up all these different things, how to get paid. And then when people see this, and then I display what I'm learning and doing in my own business in my email newsletter, they naturally come to me. So I'm not out there searching for people. And there's something in the universe, I can't explain it. But when I learn a new skill, and it could be that I'm talking about it because I'm excited about it and I don't realize it, but it just seems like whenever I learn something new, a whole bunch of people come and want me to do the same thing for them. All right. So it's never a waste of time, even if it takes you 20 times longer than you think to do something for your own business, because you're going to learn all the nuances. Every mistake is a hole you're not going to fall in again. Like, when I copied and pasted that from this to that wrecked this whole thing. So yes, it feels bad that I broke. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So if you copy and paste text from a Google Doc into MailChimp, sometimes it breaks the template. And, with me, it's like, I usually have to do it more than once before I remember not to do it again. But then while you're, cursing under your breath and fixing the template that you just broke, you're learning something and it gets inside of you, and you'll be able to pull that from your database in your brain later. All right. So it's always valuable to learn new skills and to live through whatever it is. And I know what it's like to be on a phone call or a chat with someone who you feel like has no clue what you're talking about. You're trying to solve a problem. And what happens is when I get into that situation where I'm trying to figure something out, most of the time what happens is that I figure it out while I'm on hold, because I've calmed down, I've asked for help, I'm able to think about what's going on. And I can't tell you how many times I've clicked around in an application, and as soon as the person says, how can I help you? I'm like, oh yeah, I figured it out already, right? Because I calmed down. So think about it in a fun way, in an as an exploration. And it does take practice. I will tell you, it takes practice. And it often, for me, it takes having the feelings of frustration and all of that, and then taking what I call it taking a lap. What that means is leave my desk, whatever, like clean something, organize something, go to the kitchen, eat a banana, whatever, and then come back in with my new attitude of like, okay, now I'm going to learn this. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can skip the struggle. And this took me a long time. And I want to tell you a story about this. So in the first quarter of 2023, a lot of the web pages for the VA Connection were updated. We added a lot of new pages, and I build those pages. I build them with my graphic designer, Mark Tatro. And what we do is, I kind of sketch out the sections that I want the pages to have, and we meet. And we talk about each section, one section at a time, because to build our new homepage, that was daunting. Like the whole concept of what should be on it, what should it look like? I have no idea. This is not an area I excel at. But what happened was we built so many new pages in such a short amount of time, and all of them turned out in my opinion, great, because we don't stop until it's how we want it, right? That's part of the deal. And that's with any project. So if you know ahead of time, you're not going to stop until it's how you want it to be, until you get the result that you want. It just kind of calms you down. So one of the things that I said to Mark when we started the last page that we did, or a couple of pages ago, I said, okay, so it's always great when we're finished. I'm going to skip the part about where I feel bad in the beginning. And I successfully did it. Now, it really took me saying to myself, it always turns out, you always figure it out, and you'll get it the way you want it to be, because you know you won't stop until it is. So do you see how that mindset, just skipping the struggle and just diving in with the knowing that you're going to figure it out? And for those of you in the VIP club or VA school, you really know, because you have a community wrapped all around you of problem solvers that come together multiple times a week, right? In order to help each other. Good. All right. So this is how you expand your business. You expand your business and you grow by learning new skills. So this is really win, win, win. Okay. So just really calm yourself down when you're learning something new. And when you feel that energy, and you know what it's like, yeah, right? You know what that's like. When you feel that, just say to yourself, let go. We're learning. This is fine. This is good. I'm expanding my business. People are going to pay me for this answer. It might be in 3 years, but they're definitely going to, because that's what happens. And I'm going to be building on something I already have and making myself more knowledgeable. Okay, good. All right. So thank you for coming. Before we go, I just want to tell you about a free training we're going to have starting September 18th. I'm very excited. No matter where you are in your business, I want to invite you to come to the Kickstart Your VA Business Training. It's a 5-day training where I'm going to teach you how to jumpstart your business, okay? How to kickstart your business. So on the first day, we're going to talk about your services. And you're going to walk away after doing the homework. There's homework, there's prizes, there's a workbook, all the things. All right. You're going to leave on the first day knowing valuable skills you already have. I promise that you can offer to clients and get paid. On the second day, we're going to talk about how to talk about your work, because what happens is when we're just starting out and we don't know what we're doing, we either say things that don't make sense. This is just normal, you guys. I can say this with certainty because I've seen it so many times. Or we just start talking and we talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and people have no idea what we're talking about, right? So I'm going to teach you how to talk about your work in a clear way, without selling, without ickiness, and you're going to love this. Okay, I promise. The Tuesday of this training is super cool. Wednesday, I'm going to teach you how to get clients to come to you. Without cold calling. I am anti cold calling, niche, all of writing a business plan, all of the things that you hear out on the internet that are really roadblocks and stopping you because you don't know what to do. We're just going to move those roadblocks right out of the way so you can jump in. All right. On the fourth day that we're together, Thursday, we're going to talk about what am I trying to say? I can see the word in my mind. It's systems, I guess. The systems you need to put into place to run your business. So things like note-taking, credit card processing, all of the different things that you need, because having clients is one thing, but running a successful business is another thing all to itself. And then on Thursday as well, I'm going to open doors to VA school. So for those of you who have been to trainings before and you said, next time, your time is now. I'm very excited for you. So that is all happening the week of September 18th. And then we're going to have an epic, and when I say epic, I'm talking the last Q&A session we had on the 5th day of our training together was 2 hours. I answered every single question. We had over 100 questions. So definitely put that on your calendar. Okay, good. So to sign up, you can go to vakickstart.com. I'd love to have you. We have a pop-up Facebook group as well with already, we have close to 500 members. It's very exciting. There's a resources page, all the support that you need right inside this little capsule. All right, good. Good, good, good. Oh, good. So Christiane says, I already picked up a cleaning client to save up for school. Good for you. You know, that's what it takes. It takes a plan. It absolutely takes a plan. And I can appreciate that very much, that, you know, anything I've accomplished in life, really, it's about setting a goal and figuring out, what do I need to do today so that in 1 month, in a week, in 6 months, in a year, I can get where I want to go. And it's all about incremental action, right? Awesome. Okay, everybody, have a great week. Let's make it a great week together. And thank you for coming to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm here every week, same bat time, same bat channel. And I hope you'll mark your calendars and join me again. Bye for now.